Hey everybody, how's it going? Alright, we're doing it. We're playing some Rhinos. So this build that I've cooked up, well, we are going to play Hedge Maze and Thundering Falls, which to me kind of fill the Wasteland spot in the deck, except they're better prior to going off. Wastelanding your opponent before you've cascaded into some 4/4s mostly sets you back from the ability to cascade into 4/4s later. But, you know, Wasteland is good after you've dumped some 4/4s on the board. But, you know, the Surveil lands help you find your next Cascader or a Force of Will, which also help you secure your position. So that's my theory. So I'm not playing Wasteland. I'm playing some Bozejus, 2 of them. These will help answer Urza Saga and Chalice of the Void. 2 permanents that I'm concerned about. So we're only playing 3 Lorien Revealed. So I'm playing 2 Seagate Restorations. It's kind of these 2 Seagates and 2 Bozejus, where the 4 Wastelands sort of used to be. I'm gonna try out some Seagate Restorations here. I mean, they pitch to Force of Will, and they don't come into play tapped. Whereas Lorien Revealed and Hedge Maze kind of come into play tapped or require mana to get the ball rolling. So Seagate does not have those drawbacks. And then we are going to play some Subtleties, which should be good against Grief, and Endurance, which Reanimator is like the best deck right now. Subtlety also effective against Ancient Tomb strats, or at least Goblins and the Initiative. And pretty standard sideboard. Got some Force of Vigors. Those will also help against Urza Saga and Magus of the Moon. Brotherhood's End. Hullbreacher, good catch-all piece. Fury. I mean, you see the normal build online, I guess, plays 4 Force of Vigors. Seems like a lot. Bozeju, probably the easiest answer to have for Chalice, which I think is pretty important. And then this makes room for Fury, which is a pretty good clutch card in those Ancient Tombs matchups. So, yeah, Temur Rhinos. It's been a while, but I'm excited to cascade into some 4/4s here. All right, so we're on the draw with this hand, and it has Suspend Rhinos, Violent Outburst, and 2 Minsc and Booze, and no blue card for the Subtlety. So I guess I'd have to say it's a little weak. Well, this can at least get a Surveil land and has Force of Will, and then Minsc and Boo is an eventual payoff. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to keep and throw back the Volcanic Island. Seagate Restoration looking better than Wasteland here. Once upon a time, I don't like 2-for-1ing myself to counter a free spell. So we're not going to do that. Ignoble Hierarch. So it's the old Cradle control, it would seem. We don't have the best hand against that right now, although I think it's a fairly favorable matchup. Endurance is an effective card here. Then we have the Furies and the Fire and Ices. Yeah, I just can't do anything about this Fiend Artisan. So that's going to get to resolve. Maybe they'll play a Green Sun, another Fiend Artisan. Okay. Well, maybe I should have mulliganed to 5 here. I'm not even sure. Look, I guess Fire and Ice would be the best thing that could happen here. So I guess I'm going to get the Thundering Falls. A Force of Will. Well, this could provide some important interaction. Although, against their Fiend Artisans, I guess I'm just putting this in the graveyard. Fire and Ice, Endurance, Cascader. Those are the sorts of things I'm looking for. A land. Not what I was looking for. Alright, so the opponents played a Fiend Artisan. They played Dryad Arbor, and then they're going to use Fiend Artisan. And now they're going to to get the Allosaurus Shepherd is what they got with the Fiend Artisan. And now they're going to have an uncounterable natural order. And this is probably going to get Atraxa. And we're going to be in a pretty bad spot here. I think the Atraxa is sufficiently unbeatable. Like, I could get a Brazen Borrower. I guess I'll just play it out here. I don't think revealing that I'm on Rhinos is too detrimental. I suppose if I found Brazen Borrower, that would be cool. Simian Spirit Guide. And this is really going to give away what we're on. Although I could play Minsc and Boo. Alright, I am just going to concede. I don't think it's going to happen. See, I wonder if my opponent is shrewd enough to board out their Atraxa. In which case, that Inevitable Betrayal seems crazily good. Or, you know, if they don't board it out. I mean, Brazen Borrower, good against the Atraxa, but I mean, we got a lot of cards to bring in here. We have 18 mana sources. Maybe I can afford to board out Seagate Restoration. Although, Crashing Footfall definitely coming out. I mean, I could just go all in on the Inevitable Betrayals. I mean, are they going to board out their whole Natural Order package? Oh, we have Brotherhood's End to bring in also. Oh, I put in Magus of the Moon accidentally. I mean, I could also board out these Subtleties, which seem okay, but not as good as Fury. I guess Subtlety on the whole seems pretty weak. Maybe I'll keep in 2 Crashing Footfalls and just take my chances here. And we'll find out whether or not they're keeping in Atraxa together. Yeah, this is a turn 2. Well, now I wish I was just all in on Inevitable Betrayal. Once upon a time. Turn 1, Ignoble Hierarch. Okay. Alright, so... I guess I'm gonna... get an island, and then Lorien Revealed for like a Thundering Falls. Or maybe I'll just get a Tropical Island. And still Lorien Revealed for like a Hedge Maze. Even though I'm not about to play Hedge Maze. But it'll be good to have later. Buzzaiju. Well, maybe I should have gotten a red thing. We had plenty of green mana. Although we have Lorien Revealed to find more red if we need it. Anyway, I'm going to play Volcanic Island. And this Shardless Agent. We found the Inevitable Betrayal. Are you playing Atraxa? No, we're getting a Craterhoof Behemoth here. Alright, well at least it's a 5/5. Sadly, my Shardless Agent does not get the trigger. But this thing does have haste. And beats down pretty hard. Another Ignoble Hierarch. And another Ignoble Hierarch. Well, the good news is that we've kept them off of... They don't have anything to natural order into at this point. And an Elvish Reclaimer. Okay. Alright. There's a red source. I guess I'm going to attack. I don't think they have much else that would matter if that I can Inevitable Betrayal into. I should have taken a screenshot of their deck, though. But anyway, we are attacking. They're taking 7. So I'll play this Boseiju and play this Shardless Agent. And we have a bunch of Rhinos on the board. All right. I don't know what kind of crazy top end thing they can do here. Yeah, they're going to play a Fiend Artisan. That's not very scary yet. And they're going to concede. Okay. All right, well, I think it's best to board out the Inevitable Betrayal. I think Magus of the Moon honestly doesn't look too bad. But the other option would be like a Brazen Borrower or Subtlety. All right, I'm just going to bring in the one Magus. I mean, maybe the random Force of Negation, but it's pretty bad. All right, I'm just going to bring in the Magus. Well, this hand has Force of Will and 2 Cascades. I mean, I wish it was faster, but maybe we can use Wooded Foothills to get a Thundering Falls and find our way to the acceleration that we're looking for. Or we could just find Fury. Another Force of Will. Okay. Well, Thoughtseize is not very effective against our hand of duplicitous cards. Well, I guess duplicitous isn't quite the right word, but we do have a lot of multiples. Anyway, I think I do want to force this Fiend Artisan, pitching the Lorien Revealed. And then like blue card or a Spirit Guide or something is a good one off of this Wooded Foothills. Grab the Thundering Falls for red mana. Take a Surveil. Well, that's no bueno. They pause there. I wonder if they're thinking about surgicaling my Crashing Footfalls. That would be pretty good. Of course, we just draw a land anyway. So the opponent plays Misty and Duress, and now we're out of action. Of course, they only have 1 card in hand, so that's good news. So we just got to draw something here at some point. And we've drawn only lands. Alright, the opponent has their own Surveil land. They put Misty into the graveyard. It's better than keeping something good on top. They draw a Cradle, it seems. That's not too scary. They're getting into natural order territory, though, if they find one. It'll be nice to draw a blue card or something besides a land. Well, if we can fade anything too horrifying happening this turn, that'll be good. It looks like they have the natural order. Well, that's really frustrating. And they brought their Atraxa back in cleverly. I guess I should have predicted that kind of thing was going to happen. 3 lands in a row in an 18-land deck. So the opponent got Magus, Natural Order, and Snuff Out. I guess we're not out of it yet. I mean, Magus doesn't really matter, although it turns off my ability to hardcast this Force. I think Magus is worse for them than it is for me. I have this Fire to take care of the Magus if they go down that route. It's the second Natural Order to get the hoof that I'm worried about. I guess I'm going to take the beats here. I kind of have to hold up to protect. I don't know. I guess I'm going to ice Atraxa on their upkeep. Okay, well, we drew a blue card to pitch to Force of Will. But I don't have Brazen Borrower in the deck, so I really don't know what I'm gonna do here. Draw another land. Maybe they'll sack this Atraxa to their natural order and try to win right here. Yeah, they're going to cleverly just attack for 1. That's probably a shrewd move. Yeah, we're just dead. Man, that was a frustrating game 3. I just drew horrendously every turn. And our luck was not about to change. I guess the only way to lose to, the deck we just played is to have them resolve natural order. We got all kinds of removal post board. Probably should have brought in that 5th Force of Negation. Anyway, we have a hand with some turn 1 potential here. So I guess I'm going to get the forest. I've got a bunch of blue sources here. Although maybe you could play Seagate Restoration and take some damage and have 2x Surveils with the fetch lands. The opponent goes to discard. They're playing Dredge. Okay, I just noticed we're playing against Cyrus Bales, who has a nice YouTube channel, Crucible of Worlds. The good news... I mean, if they're on a slow Dredge plan here, I don't know, if they just go land, careful study here, I guess. It's bad news, and it looks like they're going to do that. Yep. All right, they have all kind of bridges. Oh, they're playing the Poxwalkers is what's going on. All right, so they're playing Cabal Therapy. I don't know if they're going to name Seagate Restoration. I guess they probably will with their second mana. Or their second Cabal Therapy. So the Poxwalkers are 3/1 Death Touchers. Okay? And they're going to have 8 zombies after this, which is enough to neutralize my board. Yep, that's what they do. And the Poxwalkers come back into play. So that seems pretty good. So I'm going to get the Thundering Falls here. I guess if we found like Endurance, it would not be the end of the world. Maybe. But Misty's not it. Minsc and Boo. I guess I'm going to attack with a Rhino. If I attack with both, they probably just clear my board. Like, whereas maybe there's a chance I get to Alpha Strike. If they clear my board, though, they're going to lose their bridge from below. Maybe they just don't dredge into much. But if I attack with this Rhino and then they elect not to block, yeah, I guess I'm just going to attack with one Rhino and see how that treats them. If they get to a low life total, maybe we can do some kind of crazy Alpha Strike to get in the final bits of damage. Alright, well they have another Faithless Looting, so that's probably going to be good for them. And a Cabal Therapy. They're going to attack with their 3/1 Poxwalker, which has Death Touch. So I guess I'm going to take the damage rather than lose my Rhino. So here's a Cabal Therapy. It just makes a giant amount of tokens. Maybe they'll name Minsc and Boo here, as that would probably be a pretty good choice. Yeah, and they sure do. Alright, they got it. Definitely going to bring in the other endurances. Subtlety not looking hot. Brotherhood's End as a sweeper could do some work against a horde of 2/2s. Fury also goes to the graveyard. I'm not sure how I would squeeze in 4 more cards, but Minsc and Boo is pretty slow. Maybe we'll just bring in Fury as a way to kill bridges. Brazen Borrower, if they're playing like Hogak, could be good. Maybe Fire and Ice is a little underwhelming. I do like how it pitches to Fury and Force, though. The Breacher. Is the Breacher good? If this came down early, it could really mess with them. Alright, I'll bring in the Breacher. Or I can just pitch it to Force of Will. So this hand has Force of Negation and Endurance. Is that good enough? I mean, they probably do want to go like turn 1, Faithless Looting. And we can also Hedge Maze our way into action, maybe. So I'll start on the Misty. The Wooded Foothills could theoretically grab the mountain. And we're definitely grabbing a Surveil land with this. A Lion's Eye Diamond against their 4-card hand. Alright, I guess I'm gonna force it. Bosch and Roll always says you just force the first thing they play. And we're gonna get punished for it. Okay, but they don't have a Faithless Looting. So we just need to find a green card here. And we can Endurance their graveyard and they'll have a whole lot of nothing going on. We did not get there on the green card. Okay, they can't do anything horrifying this turn. So we just gotta find... Well, we can hard cast Endurance next turn. So we are in the clear here. Just have to not fail to play my Forest. A Fury. This would end the game, but I don't have the other red mana, and it'll be quite a while before we could make that happen. So I am just gonna play the snow-covered Forest and Endurance my opponent on the upkeep. Alright, Endurance happens. We have quite a lot going on to our opponent's not much. Rhinos seem fine. I'll keep the Boseiju in hand just in case. They are not blocking with a Narcomoeba. They're going to get in for 1. Rhinos on 3. Force of Will's a solid draw. That should lock this up. They go to 14, and there's a concession. All right, we got to win a crucial game 3. I didn't miss Fire and Ice. It doesn't look like Subtlety would do anything. Minsc and Boo is pretty slow. It does also kill bridges from below. I'd have to imagine Fury is still better at that, though. Although the Minsc does pitch to Endurance. Alright. I'm gonna try without the Brotherhood's End and hopefully not regret it. So the opponent mulliganed to 6, and we have ourselves a turn 1 Violent Outburst. Is that good enough, though? We're probably the control in this matchup. I mean, a turn 1 Violent Outburst on the draw, and then it's not for a couple turns that we get to do anything else. I think I'd really rather, like, Endurance can just win the game all by itself. All right, well, this hand has Force of Will. Which I think is pretty good. So I could put back the Boseiju here. And then, see, keeping Crashing Footfalls in hand if I draw the Endurance. Well, I could just pitch Shardless Agent to Endurance if we find it. Or we could probably just hardcast Endurance. I think I am going to keep and put back the Boseiju. And then, so blue card is a good draw. Yeah, I'm just going to force the Faithless Looting, and I think I do have to pitch Shardless Agent. Okay, we drew a blue card. Man, maybe I should have just suspended the Crashing Footfalls. Okay, anyway. So with that in mind, do I want this Force of Negation? I think I'm going to have to take my chances with it. Yeah, here's another Faithless Looting. Okay, so we force that too. I think I'm still not playing the Crashing Footfalls. Because I really want the Surveil. But now they can flash back the Faithless Looting. Yeah, and there it is. Alright, so they put Bridge into the graveyard and a Golgari Grave Troll. So I'm going to get the Hedge Maze. Simian Spirit Guide. So that lets me hardcast the Force of Negation on their Faithless Looting, which is maybe pretty important. If they only... I guess if they miss on Dredgers, that's what we're hoping for. And they did miss on Dredgers. Although they have an Icarid and a Bridge. They are passing the turn. A Violent Outburst, okay. Well, that's going to let me get some bodies on the table. So they're going to put Icarid into play. They're not going to put Icarid into play. They're doing the Dread Return. Targeting the Ashen Rider. So I guess I have to Force of Negation this. And that does set them up to do the thing next turn. Maybe I can draw an Endurance right now. I cannot. I can Petty Theft their Icarid, but they don't elect to put it into play. But now they can reoccur the okay, wow, they have a Lion's Eye Diamond. So this Faithless Looting is probably going to be pretty good. I'm out of action. So I guess I could still draw Endurance here. That ain't it. But I can at least get Violent Outburst on the stack. And we have this Brazen Borrower. So they're at 11 here. That is the good news about their pain lands. Oh, but they have this Faithless Looting that they can recur. So they go to 8. So maybe we get to survive this turn somehow. Ooh, we might just be able to attack with Violent Outburst for the win. Alright, well, I think this is going to do it. Well, I guess I feel a bit lucky to have won that one. I don't know if I'm supposed to mulligan to 5 to look for the Endurance. I guess the thing about that game is that I should have suspended Crashing Footfalls on turn 1. Well, I had the forces in hand. I just really thought I'd find an Endurance at some point. Anyway. Alright, we're on the play here, and we have a mulligan. Okay, so we can keep this hand, suspend Crashing Footfalls, Lorien Revealed for a Thundering Falls, and we have like Endurance. Maybe that'll be good. All right, the Rhinos are suspended. All right, the opponent is starting on Cavern of Souls, so they are a Goblins gamer. Okay. A Violent Outburst. So we can Lorien Revealed, and now I probably want to get the Volcanic Island because we may need to fire a Sticker Goblin in response to its enter the battlefield trigger. That's the Gemstone Cavern. Okay. Yep, there is the Sticker Goblin in question. Going to fire it. Yeah, the ability does not trigger. The Goblin's not in play. So one more mana source, and I think we're in an okay spot. They used a Spirit Guide to get that thing going. Okay, there's a mana. So we will be Violent Outbursting, unless we see fit to Endurance for some reason. Okay. Looks like we're going for another Sticker Goblin. Goblin Matron. All right. Well, they had to sacrifice the Prospector to make it happen. And they get another name Sticker Goblin. So we will commence the beatings with some Rhinos. Seagate Resto. It's not doing the most here. Alright. Well, we'll have to see what kind of crazy turn they can pull off with this Sticker Goblin. We're putting them under a bunch of pressure if it doesn't happen. So they really want this Sticker Goblin. They must be hoping to hit a 6 and get the Muxus into play, but they only hit a 5. All right, they're really thinking about it here, so I got to expect they were hoping for the 6. A Matron. They do get a Muxus. So I guess they didn't have the Muxus already. And a Skirk Prospector. So I guess Muxus is coming down next turn. But we're going to have a pretty sizable army of our own. Fire and Ice would be a pretty sick draw. I guess I don't see any point to... I guess I'll target myself. There's a Fire and Ice and Cascaders in there. Though they go to the bottom of the library. Anyway, we get some 4/4s. Obviously, if we get Fire and Ice, we just get to target our opponent's dome. Unless they choose to do some blocking. Seems like they're going to have to go pretty all in on this Muxus. You know, sacrificing more goblins to the Prospector to make it happen. Oh, a Violent Outburst. Well, that's probably a game-winning draw. So that's nice. No blocks. All right. Well, this will wrap it up then. And there's a concession. All right. And unlike the normal builds of Rhinos, we have 4 whole sideboard cards to bring in here. All right, so Endurance, not looking great. And neither is Force of Negation. So I'll bring in a Force of Vigor. I guess I would like a second Force of Vigor just to help answer Chalice. Maybe I'll trim a Lorien Revealed. All right, that looks okay. Well, this hand on the draw, yeah, it's pretty darn slow, and it doesn't have the red mana to play its fire. It'll be a pretty playable hand on the play with a red source, but I don't think so much so on the draw. Now, this hand is certainly more interesting. I guess we're quite a ways from casting the Minsc and Boo, and so it has to be the one to go back. All right, the opponent's going to basic Mountain and pass. All right, we drew a land. The opponent's playing a Blood Moon. We can just play around that completely. So that does a whole lot of nothing. Only lands. A Broadside Bombardier. So I could fire this before they can attack. I guess I'm just going to do that. I kind of don't want them to fling the Blood Moon. If I Violent Outburst, yeah, I can't even block it probably because they fling the Blood Moon before blocks. So I'm just going to let this resolve and fire it and kind of hope to draw a blue card here. Force of Vigor. So that could have been a blue card. Like a Force of Negation. Goblin War Chief. Alright, well that's not so bad. Maybe they'll attack with it. Nice. We are in Value Town. No reason not to double block. There's a blue card. So that's going to let us play the Simian Spirit Guide here. a name sticker goblin with 1 card left in hand. So I think I'd rather force the whatever the 1 card left in hand is. Yeah, and it's a Muxus, and we're gonna force it. Obviously, they could just untap and play the Muxus next turn if we had forced the name sticker. Yeah, so they have no way to untap and play Muxus, but I mean, Siege Gang Commander probably wouldn't even do it for them. So, all right. All right, on the play, round 4. So this hand has Force, but otherwise does nothing. So it does look like my opponent is a scam player, a blue-black Scaminator. And this hand does not seem especially good. I mean, it does have Force of Will. Maybe this is okay against Scam, actually, because they can't take both Force of Wills very quickly. I suppose if they just Grief and Reanimate it, that is good. But what kind of hand am I going to find? Just turn 1 Rhinos is the only thing that beats the Grief Reanimate hand. Alright, they be passing. So they're pausing while I'm fetching here. So they're probably thinking about playing their Entomb would be my guess. If they don't Entomb, I'm going to get my Thundering Falls and take my Surveil. Boseiju. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. Another Boseiju. Awesome. I guess I'm going to Lorien Revealed for the Hedge Maze here. I can't force twice anyway. Force of Negation. I guess we're keeping this. So maybe they Entomb here. We force. They daze back. We pay with Spirit Guide. And then we're holding up Force of Negation after that. Well, here's the grief. They take an Elvish Spirit Guide. Interesting. It's not what I would have predicted. Yeah, so I think I do have to force this. Taking Elvish Spirit Guide suggests they have daze. But then we're holding up that Force of Negation. They let it resolve. Interesting. Alright, they're cracking that Delta. Probably going to get the blue-black Surveil land. No, they're going to get Volcanic Island. Here's another Reanimate. I'll burn a Force of Negation on it. They're going to daze. I'll pay. Alright, Force resolves. Elvish Spirit Guide. So Boseiju can answer Animate Dead. I guess I'm going to keep this Elvish Spirit Guide. If I draw like Minsc and Boo, I'll wish that I was able to play it around days. This Bowmaster is not much of a clock. Alright, we're going to 15. I guess I probably just have to play the Elvish Spirit Guide here. Alright, I guess this is my window to play the Elvish Spirit Guide, and we'll just hold up the Force of Negation afterwards. If they do get to reanimate or do something with this grief, could always just draw a Cascader. But I don't know when it's going to get better. We do need to not lose all our life to Orcish Bowmaster and then end up in a position where we lose to... you know, just a grief menace attack kills us. I mean, this is fine. We're still padding our life total versus not... well, now we can't play Force of Negation. But we would have just taken more damage if we had not played the Elvish Spirit Guide. Well, they only have one card in hand is the good news. So we just have to draw something at some point. Well, now they have 2 cards. Of course, they hit the enemy dead. Take Simian Spirit Guide, that makes sense. We're on 3-turn clock. So Shardless would be a nice draw. It's a land. Well, at least we can get the Thundering Falls. We go to 5 here. Oh, we already used the Thundering Falls. So I'll just get Volcanic Island. We didn't get there. Alright, so against this deck, what do we want to do? Definitely the Endurances. Inevitable Betrayal. Probably should come in some amount. I don't know. It's a matchup where you'd want Mystical Dispute, I suppose. Like, the force effects kind of seem rough. With the card disadvantage. I don't think Magus is good enough. Hullbreacher seems like it could cheese a game easier. Alright, I guess I'm going to try this. Well, this hand has Endurance at least. So I don't really see how I can put it back. Violent Outburst is probably worth keeping. So if they do the Turbo Grief plan here, at least we have that Violent Outburst on top. Alright, they take Fire and Ice. And they are passing the turn. Interesting. They're doing the Scalding Tarn. And they're going to Entomb. And get a Traxa. I guess they're trying to do that around a Inevitable Betrayal. So here's a Reanimate. So we'll have to Endurance, pitching the Violent Outburst. Alright, it thankfully resolves. I can scarcely believe my luck. And that does shuffle it into their library, so that if we get another Cascader, we're in business. A Minsc and Boo. Well, we could get that down next turn. I don't think it's one I can put into the graveyard. Alright, so the opponent's playing Basic Island and passing. I guess I'm going to fetch up the Taiga. And then Lorien Revealed for a tropical. We'll get that tropical. And I just don't really see being able to play around days here is the way of it. If we keep Minsc and Boo in hand, there's just a chance it gets griefed. So a Spirit Guide would be an okay draw. Okay, we got there on the Spirit Guide. So hopefully it's days that they have, if it is some kind of interaction. Okay, or maybe it's just in there. Although I suppose Orcish Bowmaster is pretty effective. Oh, it's just Petty Theft. But I guess they could only tick the Minsc and Boo down to 1 if they did play the Orcish Bowmaster. But they do have Hydroblast. And Entomb. Alright, so it tracks us back in the graveyard where it cannot be inevitably betrayed. We do have Hullbreacher. Maybe we can get our opponent good with that one. Alright, so they're just passing. I guess I'd have to admit that the Magus seems like it would be good on this board. So we need our opponent to really brick. Although all their cantrips are dead draws, unless they can answer the Hullbreacher. Yeah, they have a 3/1 of their own, but it can only block creatures with flying. We're down to 15. Lorien Revealed. Petty Theft on my Hullbreacher. Okay. I guess I have to play the Lorien Revealed while the getting is good. We did get there on a Subtlety. Okay. We're swamp cycling a troll. Okay, well I'm happy that Hullbreacher's not Magus again. More lands, what a delight. We could play Seagate Restoration, but we're going to be taking 6 here. But I could Subtlety the Brazen. So we would be drawing 5 cards because I have to use a Simian Spirit Guide to play the Seagate Resto. I kind of think I have to do it. We just need a Fire and Ice to neutralize their clock here. If they play Daze, it's an absolute beating, though. All right, I think I'm going to not play the Seagate Resto on further analysis. So I'm going to play my Hullbreacher here. And I'll probably actually just block their Brazen Borrower with my Brazen Borrower. All right, and now we are on top of this clock. Well, what we need to do is fade Animate Dead. Because Reanimate doesn't do it with the Atraxa. We have 7 power on board. So I guess I'm keeping up Subtlety here. With Daze backup. Well, I guess I could have played the Seagate Restoration and gone to 5. Okay, what we got there? All right, for game 3. Do we want to do anything different? I don't think so. I'm just going to run it back. Well, the Inevitable Betrayal in hand here is pretty bad. Although the rest of this hand is okay. Well, what this hand does is play a turn 2 Violent Outburst. And it folds to like any kind of interaction. Well, it does have Hullbreacher, to be fair. I guess I'm just going to keep it. I don't think mulliganing low against the scam deck is the strat. Alright, well the opponent did pass the turn. And we drew a land. Only lands. Alright, I'm just going to play the Wooded Foothills and pass. So we're not able to sneak this Hullbreacher into play. Alright. So they're not doing a ton over there. I like that. So I'll go ahead and get the Hedge Maze. That plays Endurance. Elvish Spirit Guide. So that would let us do our thing around Daze. So I'm keeping that. And I'll play the Volcanic Island here. Because we might want to do a thing later with get a Surveil land later. If they're going for Entomb here, I guess I have to play the Violent Outburst, but they're not going for Entomb. Dothy Voidwalker. Alright, well I'd say this is my chance to attempt the Violent Outburst. And I think I'd rather keep the Elvish Spirit Guide in hand to potentially cast or pitch to Endurance. Well, the Betrayal is on the stack. Here's the Daze. We're paying. Maybe they won't have any more interaction. Entomb. So they can get the Atraxa out of their deck. But we can probably go get a Grave Troll. An Archon of Cruelty? Holy smokes. I feel like my wildest dreams are coming true. So their forces are in hand. In the library, I mean. I don't know what's left in their hand. But yeah, I'm taking this Archon. Wow, I just can't believe it worked. And so from here, I imagine it's fairly elementary as we attack with Archon. And I might as well get the Hullbreacher into play now while they seem to be out of juice. Okay, they're going to concede. All right, well, we beat the best deck in the format, so that's cool. All right, it looks like my opponent is also a blue-black Scaminator player. This hand is pretty terrible with 2x Crashing Footfalls in hands. We could, in theory, Subtlety a Grief, though. But man, this hand is really bad. What with just the 2 Crashing Footfalls in hands. Okay. So this hand wants to Surveil into more action. So I'm going to put Crashing Footfalls on the bottom. We don't have a green source anyway. Otherwise, I would try to suspend that turn 1. Opponent's got their Lotus Petal. Swamp cycling that Troll. Well, if they just reanimate a Troll, we can probably survive that. And that is just what they're doing. All right. So I'm just going to take the opportunity to Thundering Falls. We're looking for mana here. Ooh, Endurance. Where were you? Why couldn't you be in my opening hand? We're all in on this Petty Theft resolving if we keep this Endurance on top. Alright, I guess Endurance has to go in the graveyard, even though this matchup is the whole reason why it's in the main deck. Alright, the opponent's going to get in for 6. So what I'm probably going to do is ice this thing. Well, we'll see what other fun things they've got going on. I guess if they play like Orcish Bowmaster here, I just have to Petty Theft the Troll. Seems like they have Orcish Bowmaster, but we did get to our 3rd mana. Maybe they're gonna not... Like, maybe they're gonna Orcish Bowmaster here, and they probably want to use their mana. They probably do have Orcish Bowmaster. Sure do. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna Petty Theft the Troll. Okay, that thankfully resolves. So hopefully they don't have too much other action going on, and we can just start ramming 4/4s. So we're taking 2 from the attack. Imagine they're gonna cycle that Troll. No, they're gonna Brainstorm. Okay. So they resolve their Brainstorm. They're griefing, and thankfully we have 3x the Cascaders. They take the Fire and Ice. So I don't know. If the plan here is to reanimate, they're going to be down to 10. We're going to have 10 power in play. It seems like a precarious position for them. They're going to... Okay, they're cycling a Troll. Getting an Undercity Sewers. So they're thinking about it. All right, it's not Atraxa. So that's good news. So they're a little ways away from making anything too crazy happen. Force of Negation's a pretty nuts draw. Alright, Crashing Footfalls. They don't have Daze. They're going for a Ponder. You could almost Force of Negation this, but I guess I'm going to let it go. If they somehow have like a discard card, I don't think it matters. They chose not to shuffle. They do have a Wasteland, so that's maybe an okay one. But we're still in a pretty strong position here. Okay. It's not an awful draw. Okay, I'll take this trade. All right, it's our force against their 2 cards. Entomb. Yeah, you can have an Entomb. They do get Atraxa. Here's an Animate Dead. Here's Force of Negation. I guess I'll pitch the Shardless Agent. And there's the concession. Alright, I'm going to do this like last time. Do like having Hullbreacher over Magus of the Moon. Maybe Subtlety will do something this game. But yeah, I think that is what I want. We definitely need our Fire and Ices. Minsc and Booze. I mean, Subtlety has done a whole lot of nothing. And could maybe be Force of Negation. But I'm going to keep giving Subtlety a shot here. Alright, double Endurance hand with Shardless, Fire and Ice. I'm going to keep. Okay, opponent mulligans to 6. Turn 1 Brainstorm. And it's a Lotus Petal. Alright, they appear to be passing it back. Boseiju. Yeah, I don't see why I would not play my Misty Rainforest here. And potentially get a Surveil land. The old upkeep Entomb. Alright, they've gotten Atraxa. So the question is, do I want to pitch Endurance to Endurance or Shardless Agent to Endurance when they go for this? I guess the upside... Oh, well maybe they're not doing it this turn. The upside of... would be if I draw like another green card. But now I don't have to worry about it because they're not doing it this turn, so... Works for me. Anyway, I'm going to get the Hedge Maze. Although I do have plenty of green sources in hand. So maybe I will get the Thundering Falls. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Ooh, another green card. That's hard to put back. Yeah, I don't know why I would not keep another green card here. And I will... I guess I might as well keep Boseiju in hand in case I want to pick off an Animate Dead. But realistically, we'll be playing this land next turn. Brainstorm. Sadly, we do not have a Hullbreacher to sneak into play. Hullbreacher and 2x Spirit Guides to play around days. Would be pretty hot, though. Alright, they're playing a Fetch Land and Cracking. Here comes a Reanimate. Nope, it's just a Ponder. Here's the Reanimate. Yeah, so I'm gonna pitch an Endurance here. Or play an Endurance pitching Shardless Agent. Target the opponent. So they don't have any interaction. It makes it seem like they probably have a Daze. And that makes me want to cycle this Ice. Because if we draw... We want to draw like a green card or a Spirit Guide. So that we can play Shardless Agent around Daze. Or play Shardless Agent with Endurance backup. Okay, we drew a green card. That's nice. So I am going to Boseiju and play Shardless Agent. And I feel like it is going to get dazed, but we'll probably survive. The next turn, thanks to this Endurance. Wow, they did not have Daze. Well, I guess I'm getting Atraxa then. It's probably better than the Archon. The Archon absolutely trumps anything they might do. Except if they draw Petty Theft. I guess Atraxa seems crazily good, so let's do that. So Force. Yeah, I mean Subtlety. Artifact. Land. We don't want the Inevitable Betrayal. Yeah, maybe we do. Yeah, that's fine to have in hand. Just to pitch to Force of Will or Subtlety. And I need to discard a card. We'll do the Misty. I'll let Ponder resolve. All right, and there's a concession. Okay. So we did 4-1 with this deck, but Subtlety did a whole lot of nothing. Boseiju did a whole lot of nothing. I guess a tap for green mana. The Hedge Maze and Thundering Falls did a whole bunch. And I liked what I had in the sideboard. So, I don't know. I guess I did not miss Wasteland. I mean, we did, Well, I love the idea of Subtlety and having another card against initiative decks where Force Negation's not the most effective. Well, at any rate, I mean, I'd say that this is the shell of Rhinos. Well, so these are the matchups we played against, right? And so Subtlety certainly has the potential to be good, but it just doesn't seem like I'm drawing it when it's needed. I mean, mostly the deck worked well in spite of some of the changes I made to it. And so, yeah, I guess I really did not miss Wasteland, and I like how I have the sideboard built. And so there's just some final slots here. And so Seagate Restoration, like we almost thought about hard casting it against Scam. I don't know. I'm just not sure what I want to do with the last couple of slots, but some main deck endurances don't seem like a bad idea. I mean, maybe you just play the Subtlety, even though it's not good. I'm just not sure. But I guess I'm going to leave it here. I mean, the cards I have here, I do like. I definitely don't want to lose to Chalice of the Void. I guess the double Boseiju plan did not hurt. So I like that. And playing 2 Brazen Borrowers, it is good against Scam. Like if they reanimate Atraxa and get to like a low life or attacking with Rhinos and whatnot, I mean, maybe this is okay. And then, I don't know, you just play some Wastelands to fill out the deck maybe. And I don't know, we've got 1 open slot here. I really don't want a 4th Lorien Revealed in addition to the Hedge Mazes. So you could make that a Seagate Restoration maybe. I guess maybe Lorien Revealed just isn't that insane. Like 2 is probably a pretty reasonable number given these comes into play tapped effects. So maybe a build like this. I mean, Endurance is not going to do much against your Ancient Tomb decks, but I mean, Scaminator is the deck du jour, and so maybe as long as that's the case, the 2 main deck Endurances are fine. And then this sideboard, I think, is good. So I guess this is what I would be doing. Maybe just the second Boseiju instead of the second Wasteland. Because I do think Chalice of the Void is a problem. Okay. Yes, I guess this, I think, is Rhinos in 2024. Man, that first match was absolutely excruciating with the draws. I mean, we got the Dredge matchup was awkward, and then we started getting okay draws in the other matchups. So, all right, well, there you have it, folks. That's Rhinos. We'll be recording more, so stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like my meanderings about Temur style decks and Legacy. All right, thanks.